Hello, hello. Welcome back again to Soul Search Sunday. Wow, weeks just passed by super fast, and look, we are in April. It doesn't feel like April. It's like 40 degrees Fahrenheit here in Richmond today, and it's going to get down into like 34 tonight. Yeah, this is not what I call April temperature. So today is April 2nd, so I hope that you guys have survived April Fool's Day without too many bumps and scrapes. I had a wonderful April Fool's Day. I met a new friend, a good friend of mine, well, one of my best friends really, introduced a friend of his to me, and this guy is an artist. What boggled my mind when I saw this guy's workshop. Well, he called it his workshop. It's really just the inside of the house. Because the entire house, the floor to ceiling, was his artwork. This guy, he is in his 60s and he's never been showcased or discovered. He's just quietly working on his art at home, and he got these giant displays and so much going on with plasters and metals and wood and clay and all any kind of stuff. You can imagine that you can shape in any form. He got them over there. He's just working on them. He has a Second World War German gunboat that he did a replica on, and it's made out of wood, and it's almost the entire length of the room. It's fantastic. Like I am simply gushing over this experience meeting this new friend, and um, if you guys look at my earlier, I made a little text post on this channel. You can see I took a picture with a bear statue that he did. That amazing piece of work. If you see that statue, every piece of fur, every hair on that bear was welded on, was created using a shard of metal. So he just go to the junkyard and gather up shards of bits and pieces of metal, and then he shaped them and weld them onto the bear to form that beautiful uh, look on the bear's fur. Just amazing. The entire bear weighs over 300 pounds, and uh, he's been working on that bear for 4 years. I also just released a short video on this channel. It will probably be before this current video, the Soul Search Sunday video. Check that out. That is a gift that my new friend gave me. He gave me a piece of his artwork so I could bring it home. Now it's unpainted, so I imagine a lot of you wouldn't be able to tell what it is, but it's a plaque with marshland, like a swamp scene on it, with a lot of vegetation and vines and mud, and there are animals hidden in all that vegetation. So I wonder how many animals you guys will be able to make out. It's very complex and just amazingly detailed. Now, making new friends, it's exciting. It's fun. I love making new friends, especially when it's an amazingly talented human being like this. However, keeping old friends is even more important and sometimes a lot harder than you may think. Let's be honest, how many of you in your lifetime have lost a friend because of something you said, or because of something they said, or because of some misunderstanding, or just some disagreement? I have. I have lost so many friends throughout my lifetime. I've had the fortune of having a lot of good people coming into my lifetime, but at the same time, I also had the misfortune of seeing a lot of good people walking out of my life. And sometimes it just things that are so crazily ridiculous that you wonder why? How come such a small thing and it can end a friendship? Well, tonight we are going to look at exactly why is that. That sometimes you think you have your good friend, you should understand each other, and yet it doesn't take much to make that friendship fall apart. Even from thousands of years ago, there's a book written in China that was a very interesting. I can speaking of China, I can't even speak English anymore. Was a very interesting uh, bit of wisdom in among its many passages. One such passage stated, "It is often safer to interact with a tiger that you don't know than to interact with a close friend. It is often safer to interact with a tiger that you don't know than interacting with a close friend." Now, this passage, it's so far-fetched, far-fetched, fetched. It's so far-fetched. I swear I did not drink anything today. I don't know what's going on. I think it's been a long day. I think I'm just getting tired. But this passage seems so far-fetched to so many people that there are many modern scholars that actually, when they were transcribing this old book, they went ahead and changed this passage to something like, "It is easier to deal with an unknown tiger than to deal with a close enemy." However, if we really sit down and think about human psychology and social interaction, we will come to realize that the original passage was not wrong. Because sometimes it is easier to interact with a ferocious, vicious beast that you understand fully that it's going to tear you apart and you should keep your distance and you should respect its territory and you should know how to deal with it, than to deal with a close friend. Why is that? Why is dealing with a close friend, close relative, someone close to you, why is that so difficult and so dangerous? Uh, and sometimes we can feel like we're skating on thin ice or walking across a minefield. Why is that? Well, to put it simply, a lot of time this comes down to a misunderstanding or misplacement, a misalignment, a broken even expectation, and lack of boundary. It really is that simple. A lot of time, uh, when you are interacting with someone who you don't know very well, like in this case, we're talking about a tiger that you don't know, right? You're not going to do something crazy like trying to jump on the tiger's back or trying to walk up to the tiger and surprise the tiger, right? Because you know fully well that this is a ferocious beast and probably will tear you apart. But if this is a tiger that you keep in your house, you raise from a cub for many, many years, then you probably will make the stupid, silly mistake of pulling its ear or thinking that because you raised it, you know everything about it, that you can jump on its back or try to play with it, and that's when you get hurt. Okay, dealing with people is the same way. When you deal with people, a lot of time, when you deal with someone who you don't know, you are very careful with each other. You understand that people have boundaries, people have expectations, people have their own lives and circumstances. You play more within the rule, how people should be with each other. You're polite and all that. But the moment you start to get close to someone, a lot of those rules gone out the window, and sooner or later, when those rules go out the window, and you start to assume that you know this person so well, and you know what's going to piss them off and what's going to be okay, sooner or later, either they will do something to piss you off really bad, or you will do something to piss them off really, really bad. And because of how close you are, it's very difficult for the person who got pissed off to be able to forgive you. Because look, if I am out there, if I'm outside and working and interacting with people, and someone come up to me and make a comment about my blindness, if this person is someone who I totally don't know, I do not get offended because I just think, oh, this guy is so dumb that he doesn't know any better. Maybe he never met another blind person before. However, if I hear a family member or a relative or one of my close friends make a negative comment toward my blindness, even as a joke, I get very, very, very angry because you guys should know better. So this is just a very small example of what can happen when there are expectation and uh, trust and boundary that are largely misaligned, and you don't actually know each other as good as you think you do. We can further understand this by splitting this into two categories. The first category is when you lose sight of boundary and propriety in front of your friend's relationship. So when it's an interpersonal, when it's a third party, when it's a multifaceted relationship, when there's it's not just between you and your friend, when there's someone else involved, this is a very, very, very important thing to remember. Okay, it doesn't matter how good a friend it is if you are in front of their parent, if you're in front of their partner, if you're in front of their girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, you got to keep that thing in check. Right? Don't ever make the mistake of thinking that you have been friends since you were children, so you think you have the right to intervene. The time is now 8 p.m. Intervene or to disagree, to dispute in any way or fashion in front of their partner, spouse, parents. Know your place. In another word, yeah. No matter how close you are still just a friend. Okay. I'll give you guys a quick little real life example on this one. When this happened one time when Kitten and I we were out with a couple of other friends, a male and a female friend, and these two friends they are both my best friends. They have been my friends for 20 odd years. So yeah, they're legit, very long-term friends. Know me very well. Practically watch me grow up. In another word, um, so we were in the car and Kitten and I were talking about hamburgers of all things. And Kitten said to me, she said, "You don't really like tomato on your burger, do you, love?" And before I could even open my mouth to answer, our female friend in the front seat turned around and said something like, I know Johnny for 20 years or more. He's fine with tomatoes. He always eats his tomatoes with his burger. And the atmosphere in the car got really, really awkward. And Kitten, I know Kitten wanted to say, and just who the hell do you think you are? I sleep with this guy. I know what this guy likes. You're just a friend. Know your place. But no, Kitten didn't say that. Kitten said, I know I'm not wrong. I know what he likes, what he doesn't like. He may eat the tomato, but he doesn't always like them. And both of them just were not very talkative to each other after that, and it was really awkward for everybody in the car. Right? And this is one of those situations that is a good example of this. Yes, you may have known me for 20 odd years, and you have seen me eat my tomato with my hamburger, but that's just because I first want to be polite. I don't like to dig in my burger and take things out. Second, I eat it for the nutrient. But do I like it? You don't know that for you don't know if I like it. Unless I ever specifically say, hey, I really like the tomato in my burger. You don't know that for sure. You're only going off of years of watching me eat tomato in my burger. So this is not a time for you to speak up. You're totally out of order in this case. When it's my girlfriend talking to me, asking me a question, if we want to put it bluntly, no one was talking to you. What makes you feel that you have the right to interject and answer for me in this case? And if my female friend was here to answer, she probably will say, well, because I've known you for so long. I thought I knew what you like and don't like. And this is exactly the problem. You thought, and you thought wrong. You know what? A lot of time, this happened to us too. When we think that we know someone enough to countermand, to uh, dispute their partner, their parents, and then we will just end up getting our nose pushed back like that naughty puppy who chew the slipper one too many times. Because eventually someone is going to put their hand up and say, hey, well, who are you again? What gives you the right to think that you know better than I do when it comes to my son or my partner? So don't ever make the mistake of interjecting yourself and make yourself thinking that you're as important or more important than the other person's partner or family. Okay? If they tell you you are more important, you just thank them, just smile and be gracious, but don't ever walk into this death trap in friendship. Because the moment that you push the matter too far and someone have to embarrass you in front of everybody, you really won't like it. And this is very, very bad for the friendship. This will make things really awkward in the long run. I'll further this by saying to this to parents and family members. Okay, yes, if you're even when your parent or uncle, auntie, brother, sister, do not presume that you will speak for the person in front of their partner. I see this done so many times, right? I see this done so many times. Like, I would go to a friend's family and eat dinner with them, and then I would ask my friend a question and say, "Hey, do you like hockey?" And then before my friend would open their mouth, the parent or their sister would, oh yeah, he think hockey is so great. He watch hockey every day, and he watch hockey and drink beer, and then he doesn't even do his homework. So again, this is not a time for you to break that boundary. I'm talking to my friend. I'm not talking to you. Who are you again? Yeah. So always remember, okay? Remember where you are, who the other people are in relation to the person that you are all friends with, related to, and keep the boundary very, very clear. And this is a good way to maintain a healthy relationship and friendship. The second half of this equation for us to understand why it is so easy to offend and lose a friend is strictly between you and the friend. The blurring of the line, the messed up expectation and messed up or sometimes non-existent boundary, and a lot of unhealthy assumptions. So first, a lot of time when you have been friends for a long time, you expect a certain things out of each other, and these expectations are quite often very unreasonable. For example, uh, my I have a friend who's been friends with me for 25 plus years, and a lot of time he offended people because his idea of uh, like when he get to people's place is he'll dig in the fridge, he'll go look in the fridge to see you got any good food and stuff like that. Now this may have been okay one time, two times, but when this keeps up, let me put it this way, there's a period of time when I wouldn't even bother buying anything like croissants or muffin or things like that to keep in my house because every time he came over, he would clear me out, and I would end up not getting to enjoy the food I bought. But to him, the expectation was if we are friends, you should be okay with me eating your food. But to me, my expectation is if we are friends, you should know that I don't make a lot of money. Money doesn't grow on tree, and you should refrain from uh, treating my place like the battlefield, battleground every time you show up. And so this is another very little, very small example on when expectations go wrong and boundaries get crossed and you don't even know it. Now, some people will say, well, yeah, but this is the kind of thing that you need to communicate. You got to talk to each other. It's not that simple because sometimes when you talk to each other, by the time you talk to each other, line has been crossed. One of you or both of you are angry, and even when you talk and you come to an agreement, your friendship is no longer like before. I can sit here. I will guarantee you this. If you have a really, really good friend who's been with you for 20 odd years, and then you have a talk with him and say, hey, look, can you not eat all my food when you come to my place? You always eat my food, and I'm so sick and tired of it. I don't make a lot of money. I feel that you're taking advantage of me. And I'll guarantee you that if this, even when this friend says, yeah, okay, okay, fine, I won't eat your food. I understand. I didn't know it bothered you. I'm sorry. Okay? After this, your friendship will never be the same ever again. Okay? After this, you gone from uh let's say your friendship was full, like you got a full friendship point, 100, level 100 friendship. After this talk, I will guarantee you your friendship downgrade to level 50 or level 30. Yeah, you'll notice this person doesn't even want to come over much anymore. And this person will be very polite, very cordial, and very cold toward you. You're still friend, but you're no longer best friend after this. Why is that? Because this come to his expectation being his feeling being hurt. You got what you wanted to say off your chest. You spoke, you talked about, okay, here's my boundary. But now you crossed his boundary. You hurt his feeling. You broke his expectation because his expectation was you're supposed to be okay with it. His expectation is we've been friends for 25 years. I've helped you with countless things. Every time you want to go somewhere, I drive you there. And now you are getting pissy because I eat your muffin, I eat your bread, I eat your croissant. Well, the hell with you then. So now you just gone from the frying pan right into the fire, to use an old cliche. And so friendship is a very complicated thing. So it's not the kind of thing that just communication can resolve. I'll give you another true life example before we wrap up today's episode of how crazy something like this can be. I had a friend who was an elderly lady. She was in her early 70s and just like a fantastic person. We went out for lunch a lot and we um, went to different events and we hung out and I helped her with physical stuff. She helped me with driving related, picking things up at the store and so on and so on. I was really good friend with her husband before the husband got sick and ended up in the old folks home and with dementia and all that stuff. So I was not just her friend or his friend. I was literally like family friend. And I've known both of them for over 5, 6 years. So one day, uh, my friend went to help me pick up my computer from the computer shop, and I called the computer shop ahead of time. I said to the computer shop, I said, hey, my friend is coming to pick up the computer, so can you, she's going to pay uh, whatever is owed, and then I'm going to pay her. So can you tell me how much it is that I need to pay her? The shop told me, oh, it's $225. I said, okay, well, so I went to the bank. I got $225 out of the ATM, and I came home and waited for her to show up with my computer. And then when she showed up with my computer, she said, here you go, here's your computer. I said, well, how much was it? Uh, and she said, oh, it came to $239 and some change. And without even thinking, I said, 239. Well, the computer store told me 225, so I'm sorry. That's all I got out, the 225. So I'll give you the rest later. And she didn't say much. She just said okay, and she took my 225 and she left. And from that day, she never talked to me again. Yeah, and it's not until like 9 months later that I found out through other friends why she wasn't talking to me. Because apparently she thought that me even questioning her when I said 239, the computer shop said 225. She took that as an insult. She said she felt that she went to all that trouble picking out a computer for me and we've been friends for all these years. I shouldn't question her when she said 239. If she felt that I was questioning her because maybe I thought she was cheating me, and that was an insult to her. Now, obviously, from my perspective, I did not say it because I thought she was cheating me. I said it because I was given the wrong information and I was a little bit embarrassed. I didn't have the right change for her. That's all. That's why I said that. But from her point of view, that wasn't it. That was a direct slide, and we've been friends for all these years. I should know better. I should respect the fact that she picked up the computer for me. I should just give her the right change, and that was how it's supposed to be. And this was one of those ending of friendship that was so WTF. And you know what? You would think that me being an adult, she being an adult, and we being friends for quite a few years, this would be the kind of thing that easy to repair. That's just a simple misunderstanding. But for some reason, even after I explained the situation to her and she said she now understood, we still couldn't go back being friends. It just the friendship was just gone. That one simple miscommunication killed the friendship just like that. Right? So again, I will say this as a closing statement. Just because you know someone really well, you've been friends for many, many years, just because you're related, always watch out for what you're saying to each other. Keep each other at a safe distance. Don't take each other for granted. Don't take each other for granted. Because it's the moment you start taking each other for granted, you start to disregard each other's feeling, and you assume that anything you do will be forgiven. That's when things will suddenly and violently fall apart on you. Thank you for checking out today's episode. I'll be back again tomorrow for some Music Monday. For now, thank you and have a good night.